What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Bodybuilding Podcast. And I am here with one of the legends of bodybuilding. Some people say maybe the greatest bodybuilder of all time, potentially. Flex, what do you say? Hello.
Man, I say opinions vary, bro. Some people hate me, some people love me, but
No,
regardless, I'm just going to try to be me. How you doing?
I'm good. Flex, nobody hates you. Your physique has been iconic. People compare all new physiques that come out that are aesthetic to your physique. Your physique is the benchmark for what is considered aesthetic in bodybuilding. So I just want to say thank you for coming on my show. It's an honor to have you on my show. We've never really had a chance to speak at length at all. I'm sure we've seen each other at shows and said
Yeah,
hello here and there, but we've never really had a chance to talk. So thank you for coming on the show and giving me some time.
not a problem, brother. Not a problem. Like you said, we've for what over a decade we've seen each other moving back and forth, but I always had an incredible amount of respect for you, brother, and what you've
Thank you.
done.
Thank you.
How's your recovery and everything going?
It's slow. As you know, you've had your own setbacks with
Yeah,
adversity and that things are not always easy. Um,
yeah,
this is a nerve thing, so nerves take a long time to heal. And
yeah.
I've had one surgery so far on the bicep to get some bicep flexion. After about 6 months, we're going to wait and see how that goes. If it goes well, then we're going to do another surgery and hopefully get some shoulder movement back with another surgery. But I think it's just going to be an ongoing process over the course of the next, 3 to 5 years, and then we'll see how things go. The worst case scenario is, I'm trying to come to grips with this, but the worst case scenario is if I get no movement, there's potential for amputation.
Mm.
And the best case scenario is if I get new movement with surgeries, then I get, some function back and I have my arm back to some degree. There there won't ever be a scenario in which my arm is 100% back to where it was before, but as long as I can get some function, then that's kind of where we're at right now. But
Yeah, yeah. Man, I feel for you. I don't, I'm not sure if I ever talked about it publicly. I think I posted a couple of photos a long time ago, but one of my surgeries before I lost my leg, they took the stent that's in my groin area, and they said it was clot. That's the reason why I had no blood flow to my right leg, and they took a new stent and put it in to my pec and here, and went all the way down the side.
okay.
It blew out, and I just bled out everywhere. And in my ignorance, I thought blood just travels everywhere, and they're like, no, blood's not supposed to touch nothing, So I literally lost the full function of my right arm and my pec for like a year,
Oh
and
my
my
God.
bicep was just like hanging down. And slowly it started to come back, and I got like still what that's over 6 years ago, and I got maybe 60% of my right bicep.
Right.
And then, like you, had a serious neck injury from my car accident that got worse, and had multiple surgeries on that. And just my right shoulder, I can just like barely raise it up. So man,
Right.
I pray that you get some comfort. And at the end of the day, all I can say to you is, um, I don't push my religion on anybody, but just like
Yeah.
come to terms to the worst, and then anything else more than that is cupcake, man.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's my warped mind. It's like, hey, let me just like in competition, let me situate myself in a worse condition, the worst outcome.
Right.
And if anything happens better than that, okay, great. But at least I'm not freaking floored by, that. So
Can I tell you, it's crazy you say that because, my wife and my sister were at my bedside because I was in the hospital for like 3 weeks or a month or whatever. And the whole time, these conversations kept coming up and they're like, you got to be positive. You got to be positive. And even now, like months later, you got to be
right,
positive.
right,
I don't know if it's a bodybuilder thing, but I'm exactly like you are. I'm like,
yeah,
let me teach myself to live my life with one arm. And if I can teach myself to live my life with one arm, then if the worst case scenario happens and they got to take it, then I'll be okay because I've already figured it all out.
That's right.
And like you said, everything else is just gravy. If I can
Yeah.
use my bicep, cool. If I can use my hand, cool. If I can use my shoulder, awesome. But like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of teaching myself to be like, this is it. Like, this is the worst. And
Yeah.
yeah. So it's weird that I don't know. I wonder if it's,
I don't know if it's a bodybuilding thing because when I actually had my amputation, some of my closest friends wouldn't even contact me, and later on they're like, dude, I just couldn't. And, like a good friend of mine, Mickey Rourke, the great actor,
Mhm.
we were talking and he goes, dude, if that was me, I would just end it. I'm like, Mick, how could you say it? He goes, I just couldn't. So I think it's us certain people who have fight or flight, and we just choose fight,
Right.
instead of flight. So I'm happy, that you're in that mindset to prepare yourself for the worst. Just like in training in combat all my life, my trainer always taught me, like, man, just when you see someone, think the worst of them. That way you're prepared. And if it doesn't happen, then great. But at least,
Right.
it's not like you're walking down the corner like, oh, and something happens, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you're just always on a lookout. You're always aware and stuff like that. So man, my prayers are with you. And I mean, certain of my family was like that because before I lost my leg, I was walking around and the pain was crazy. And I just had this epiphany. I was like, man, I'm not going to be walking too much longer.
Right.
Man, I remember saying that to my wife and she got upset. It's like, how could you give up like that? And I'm like, you know me, that's not me. I just had this feeling that's it's going to happen. And I started preparing myself for that. And finally, when the doctors are like, hey, we're here, I was like, just take it. I already got my mind ready like that and just take it. But,
Right.
I hope that ain't the situation for you, brother. But what I was going to say is people who it's almost worse for everybody who's looking on,
Mm.
because I'm looking at my family members and, they're horrified and not knowing how to handle it. And I'm like making them feel better. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I see that a lot at times in movies where the
Yeah.
person who's going through the worst of it, they're making everybody else feel good. It's almost like we just get into this place like, well, okay, I'm comfortable. This is what it is.
Right.
Let me move forward. Where everybody else is like, hey, well, maybe this is maybe. I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't go to those thoughts. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I think for me, it's like, I don't want other people to feel, I don't want like pity. Like
Yeah.
I don't want people to feel bad for me. So I'm like, listen, it's good. Like don't worry
Yeah.
about it. And my family, I think my family understands that. So like when we're like just yesterday, I was having like with my family, we're having family dinner. They don't even treat me like it's anything. They
Mm,
don't look at it. They don't talk about it. And it's not like they're avoiding it. It's just like
yeah.
they just treat me like I'm the same. Everything's the same. It doesn't matter. It's going to be okay. At dinner, it's funny. My sister put chicken breast on my plate, and then she saw me with the fork trying to like cut it with the. She was like, she kind of whispered. She leaned over and whispered, she's like, "You want me to cut up your chicken for you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do actually," because I'm like, I can't use a fork and knife, so fucking
Right.
cut this
Right.
up for me. So it's all good. Like my family and friends like are all kind of there for me. They don't treat me any different, but they help me when they can. But the Mickey Rourke thing, I want to go back to that for a second. Those thoughts have crossed my mind. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I've had some really bad
I was
days.
going to ask you how you
Yeah,
doing.
I had some really bad days, and I don't want to make this podcast about me because I'm kind of trying to relate because I want to ask you about your leg, but I've had some really bad days, and that thought has crossed my mind. But I want to ask you, like, when you found out about your leg, like, did those thoughts go through your head at all, or were you like, no, I'm gonna get through this, no problem?
Oh man, unfortunately, um, since a child, I've been horrified with those thoughts.
Okay,
Um, so sad, it's sad to say, and my kids all know it, but I've had some bad things happen throughout my childhood, and my immediate thought was take your life,
right,
and very very vivid ways of doing it, and I actually tried when I was 16. I took a bottle of aspirin and, woke up the next morning, couldn't hear my grandmother shaking me. And, my grandmother, she's like one of the old, not the new type grandmother, the old wise wisdom. And she looked at me and she looked at the bottle and looked at me and grabbed me and took me in the shower. And, they took me to the hospital and pumped my stomach. And the doctor was like, if there was just a few more in that bottle, he wouldn't be there. So that unfortunately set me on a path of like when things got like too heavy for me, those were my thoughts.
Sure.
And then I just started reliving recklessly, like, honestly, my car accident in 1994 is because I just didn't care whether I lived or not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you hear my dog in the background?
Yeah, it's not affecting anything. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Yeah, he's just going nuts because he's locked up. I have a new puppy, but I just lived recklessly, and I didn't save money. I blew through money because I never really had this. I never had the ideal that I would live long. I was molested as a child from the age of like 5 to 13, and just had a lot of really bad things happen. And even as a kid, I was like, I'm not going to be here too long.
Right.
And when I got to my 20s, like, I'm not going to be here too long. So I lived life like that. I burned through money, everything like that. My thought was short term.
Yep.
And when I started having problems with my leg, well, first let's go back to my kidney transplant.
Right.
That ended my career. That was devastating. And
so let's slow down really. So I just want to take these things, but there's so much, Flex. We have to cover.
Yeah.
I hope you got a lot of time because I got a ton of questions.
No, I'm good, brother. I'm good.
So, okay, we're gonna jump around a little bit for people watching, but I just want to start with the kidney thing because that's since you just touched on it. So, the last you competed up until 2002.
2002, yeah.
2002. So, when did you understand that you had kidney issues?
So in 1999, well, actually, right around 1997, I started having severe edema after my contest. I would put on like 30 pounds overnight.
Yeah.
And it was just like freakish, like literally 30 pounds overnight.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would lose up to 20 pounds before a show. That night, I would lose 20 pounds, just water, and couldn't figure it out. I had to start going a little bit more aggressive with diuretics more than I ever have, just to try to achieve the same look, and I couldn't do that. And I started like having like this weird feeling that something was wrong, and then those thoughts hit me, just take your life. And my wife at the time, I was in so much pain. I would go out on my balcony and I would hit the asphalt of the side of the house, just punch it. Because in my warped brain at the time, I'm like, I know why this is hurting. I don't know why I'm hurting inside. Right. But if I understand why this is hurting, I can deal with it. It's almost like the cartoon, like, I got a stomach ache. So what did you do? I hit myself in my head.
Yeah.
So start going to a bunch of doctors, and I mean, hopefully your doctors are great, but when you really, really need great doctors, you find out how little doctors really know, and it's terrifying. Mm-hmm. So they're like, oh, you eat too much protein. I go to another specialist. Oh, it's because you take, these sports technology drugs, and all this. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of that. I'm like, you guys are stupider than I am, Yeah. So back to the part of punching my fist on a wall, I was like, I can't take this. I grabbed I had a 50 caliber handgun at the side of my bed, and I just grabbed it and I just laid it there. And again, my wife at the time had just calmly walked and just sat next to me on the bed. Mm. And she was like, why don't we just go to the ER? I'm like, she goes, you've been to all these specialists. Let's just go to the ER. Like, you can, she's trying to appease me, but she's like, we can always come back, and if that's what you want to do, but let's just try this last thing.
Right.
I'm like, I'll try anything other than that. That's not what I want, So went to the ER. doctor started running some tests on me, and they're like, we want to do a kidney biopsy on you. And I was like, that just sounds really intrusive. And I'm like, no. So they're like, well, how about a lymph node biopsy? And I'm like, yeah, okay. For whatever reason, that sounds a little bit better.
Yeah.
So they did that, and it took them about 9 months, and they called me back in, and they're like, hey, we think we know what's going on, but let us do a kidney biopsy. And I was like, no. So they're like, okay, let us do one more lymph node biopsy. And they did. And like within 3 days, I had a staph infection. I was just incredible pain, and went back in. It was only supposed to be a couple of hour outpatient surgery. And literally they had to scrape. So there was a lymph node in my groin area, the 2 big lymph nodes in your groin area.
Right.
So they said they had to scrape from my right leg all the way down to my knee, all the way up my hamstring and my buttocks, because that's how bad my staph infection was. So I woke up screaming, cussing, just in pain.
Right.
And they're giving me more and more morphine, and I'm still screaming. And the doctor comes in, I'm still in pain. He goes, listen, he's shaking me. He's like, listen, this is really serious. You almost died. We can't give you any more morphine because your heart's going to stop. You might want to think about letting us do that kidney biopsy now. And I'm like, whatever you need, whatever you want, I'm good. So they did that. Took them a couple more months. They called me back in. They're like, you have a disease called focal glomerulosclerosis.
Okay.
And I'm like, what is that? And they're like, listen, we don't know that much about it. All we can tell you is it's the most aggressive and deadliest kidney disease known to man. And I'm like, I feel like Superman. I look like Superman, right? I'm like, that don't make sense. I'm like, okay, well, what do we do? And they said, we're going to put you on prednisone. And the doctor said, but the doses of prednisone we're going to give you could kill you quicker than the disease will. And I looked at the doctor and I said, well, would you do it? He goes, yes, I would definitely do it. He goes, we can tell you this. You won't make it out of your 30s without having kidney failure. You won't make it out of your 40s without passing away from if you don't get a kidney transplant. So go ahead and try this. So they told me about all the side effects, which were absolutely crazy. And I started prednisone. And actually, because I was 298 pounds at the time, and they gave me half of the amount that they were supposed to give me. So like 2 days, like that movie, The Nutty Professor, how that's what I looked like in 2 days. Had an appointment, went in, the doctor looked at him like, what the hell is going on with you? And I'm like, well, you said some of these side effects are going to happen. He goes, no, son, this is killing you. We need to take you off of this. So I'm like, well, now what? And he goes, well, we're just going to kind of try to control it by your blood pressure, because your blood pressure, my blood pressure was like 200 over something. And like, if we can get that down, think about it as all these tiny blood vessels are like punching your kidney and causing this damage. So I'm like, okay. So that helped me to understand, like, I'm going to have kidney failure anyway. So I competed in 2000. Literally, after that show, I didn't talk about it that much, but I got rushed to the hospital because my kidneys failed.
Yeah.
And, they had to dialyze me in my neck. And I was like, okay. And it's like, maybe I should just quit. And that's when I quit. And then that's the year 2002 is when I came back naturally. Yep. So I didn't take anything, bro. I didn't take any accelerants. I didn't take any fat burners, nothing at all. Just try to do all natural. And that night ended up in the hospital, and they had to dialyze me in my groin. And I was like, doc, and I'm sobbing. Yeah. I was like, doc, I didn't do nothing. I didn't, nothing at all. No freaking clenbuterol, nothing. He's like, listen, son, you don't understand. Your kidney is a filtration system. Yep. All the cardio that you're doing, all the protein that you're doing, your kidneys are not up to the task. And I was like, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So I made a very stupid decision because, like I said, I live carelessly with my money. So I'm like, they already told me I'm going to lose my kidney. I'm already going to have a kidney transplant. I'm just going to go back on all the drugs, try to win a couple of big shows, and set my family up for success as I exit out.
Yeah.
Came back, and that's when I did the Ironman and J1, and I lost to Melvin Anthony. I was like, okay, it's been a while. I just got to tune things back up. I'll be ready for the Arnold. I'll get them all there.
Yeah.
And it was a week break in between that show, and that following Sunday, me and my wife at the time were coming from church, and I got out of the car when we got home, and I just started shaking, just shaking, and I immediately start sobbing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You did it. I knew it was something I did, but I was like, so I'm going over everything. I'm like, am I still on my diuretics? Because it feels like a diuretic feeling, and I couldn't remember, but because I was supposed to be off because there's a break.
Right.
So she rushes me to the hospital. They wheel me in a gurney, and I have a very warped sense of humor. When I'm in a lot of pain, or if I'm really, really uncomfortable, just the most freaking raunchy jokes will come out of my mouth. I just can't stop it from happening. What I'm really trying to do is throw everybody off of what I'm really going through.
Right.
So the doctor walks in. He goes, "Son, your blood work." He goes, I'm confused. How did you even walk in here?" And I'm like, "Doc, I didn't. You guys wooed me, and you remember?" And he kind of just stared at me with like, "You don't get it." He goes, "All right, so what do you want me to do?" I'm like, "Hey, man, I got this show next Saturday. I got to win. I need to get me ready for that." He's like, "Do you understand?" And I was honest. I told him everything I was doing.
Yeah.
I've never lied about that to doctors. I need them to know what's really going on.
Of course.
Told him everything I was doing. And he looked at me and he was about to scold me. And he goes, "I know what we doctors do." Because the doctors, when they're going through their pre-med, they got to do all these things to be able to stay awake.
Right.
And he said, "I know what we do, so I'm not going to ridicule you. If that's what you want, I'll get you ready.
Yeah.
Let us run some more blood tests and I'll be back." And he came back in, he had this solemn face. And he was just staring at me. He goes, "Son, you need to rethink your life." I was like, "What do you mean by that?" And he goes, "You're in a category of what we call sudden death." And at that point, I perked up. No more jokes. I'm like, "What does that mean?" He goes, "I'm not even sure if we can save you right now and talking to you. We need to end this conversation. I need to go into your main artery in your groin and dialyze you. Your creatinine is at 16.1, and your potassium is at 11.12. He goes, "You shouldn't even be talking right now." He goes, I'm in fear that you're just going to die right here."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, what is?" Yeah. And I was like, "Well, what does sudden death mean?" He goes, "Well, in movies how they depict you get a cramp in your arm or something, but it's really a heart attack." And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You won't get nothing. You'll just pass out and die."
Yeah.
So again, tears are flowing. And there you have it. Everything ended. And, I kept, again, getting staph infections. I don't know why. So they take the tubes out of this pec, put it in this pec, out of this pec, and this side neck, and this side, and this side. So I'm going to church, and they're seeing tubes in different areas, and they know who I am in my church. So they just asked me, would I stand up, and because the pastor and everybody knew, they said, "Flex, you mind standing up and telling us, the congregation what's going on?" So I get up and I told them, and immediately like 11 people stood up to be donors.
That's crazy.
It's people didn't even know me.
Yeah.
And they stood up to try to be a donor. And this one girl ended up being able to go through all the process and being my donor. And I had the kidney transplant in 2003. And I still thought I was going to be able to come back. Actually, I was in contact with UFC about coming back and fighting. What's the huge black guy name?
Alistair Overeem?
No, bigger than him. Back before him,
Bob Sapp?
mass. Yeah, Bob Sapp. So I was in I was in. He did. I don't know if they contacted him yet, but
Yeah.
I was in contact with them about coming back and fighting him because my thought was always like, when I'm done with bodybuilding, I'm going to go back and fight because that's always my first passion, my first love.
Right.
And man, I just kept having surgery after surgery. I had 9 surgeries in 11 weeks. And each one of them I could have passed away from. So like after the 5th surgery, I'm like, man, I just want to be here.
Is this after the transplant or still before
This
the
is
transplant?
still, I was in a hospital for about a week,
This is still
about
before
a
the
year.
transplant. Okay.
Yeah, after the transplant, I was in a hospital for
Oh,
about,
after the transplant.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had like 9 surgeries in 11 weeks that I almost died from. So again, my thought went to like, I just don't want to be here. But bro, really the crazy thing about it is I've had so many surgeries, hundreds, that I could have just given up
Right.
and just passed away. And I never did.
Right.
And it was only until like maybe 2 years ago, I was struggling with like, why do you always speak negative things into yourself? I'm that type of guy. You can't do this. You can't do that. Or, I've said it many times when I won shows, I'm like, they're going to knock on my door and take the trophy. And like, we made a mistake, and I was like, why do you always speak negative things into yourself? But when I'm doing speaking engagements, I'm always talking about how powerful your words are.
Right.
And I was like, I go, you know what? You're right, dude. You're always like hammering yourself all day long. And I goes, you want to be here. You could have gave up a lot of times. So again, not to get too deep into it, but what I understood is there's this dark entity that has been trying to trick me into giving up because it knew the positivity that I could spread. And I just rededicated myself to Christ, and it was a couple of years ago that he finally took that feeling away from me because when I lost my leg, I had those thoughts, bro. I mean, literally.
Well, that's kind of like the next question I want to lead into. So that all while this is happening, how did the leg, like how did that come about and when?
So it was probably about 2016. I was doing a lot of traveling globally, and
Sorry, can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah.
So 2016 is far removed from like your kidneys are okay now. You've had the transplant. Your health.
Yeah. Yeah. So wildly, FSGS never goes away. It's not like you got a bad heart, you get a new heart transplant, you're good. They don't understand it. It's something in our blood or something. So I was a spokesperson for a kidney foundation program, and I used to speak to people who had that disease and trying to help them. And
sure,
my first thought when a doctors told me that I had this disease, I was like, did I do this? And like, no, you didn't. I'm like, no, I need to know, did I do this? Because if I pissed in my bed, it's time to sleep in it.
right.
And like, no, we didn't. We know you didn't. And I was like, well, how do you know that? And they're like, well, there's another professional basketball player that has this disease. We can't tell you his name yet because he won't release it, but he has the same disease. And we know he didn't take the things you did. And there's also kids that have this disease. Well, I ended up finding out later on that basketball player was Lonzo Mourning, who had the same disease that I had. So, but I've talked to parents who their kids have went in for a transplant and they leave with their new kidney ravaged already from the disease. So it works really fast. So here I am 22 years later and my kidney's still doing, relatively well.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's truly a blessing.
So
but,
you were saying 2016. So at what point, like when did the leg start to bother you?
So I was stretching because back then I was still used to kick. I used to practice kicking and stretching and doing the splits, and I was doing the hurdle stands, and I heard this loud pop. And I was like, wow. And my right leg started hurting really bad, and I started limping. I'm like, wow, did I tear something? So as I'm traveling globally and all these long flights is getting worse and worse, and like I said, I was talking to my wife and I was on my way to China, and I had a layover and I can't remember where. And I was just like I could take like 5 steps and just bend over. And it's like, the feeling is like acid reflux in a muscle. How
Yeah.
it just burns. That's what it felt like. So I take 5 or 6 steps and I just bend over because it's just that type of pain. And I'm on the phone with my wife, my current wife, and I'm like, and that's what I tell her, like, I'm not going to be walking too much longer, you know. So end up getting to Japan. I come back. I go to a doctor, and I'm getting ready to go to the Arnold Classic, Australia,
Yeah.
and I keep telling my doctor's really close friends with mine now because of all the problems I've had. And he's like, and I'm like really upset. And I'm like cussing, not at him, but I'm just mad, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, we've done all these tests. What the freak's going on, man? They like one time I went to the hospital, the ER, they put a boot on my leg and said I tore this tendon. And the other time they put a brace on my leg. I'm like, you guys are idiots, man. It's like, I'm like, I know what that feels like. That's
Yeah.
not this. So I'm yelling at my doctor, and he's like, well, Flex, we've done everything except we haven't done an ultrasound. You want to try that? And I'm like, yeah. So I go in. This lady, she's doing an ultrasound. About 5 minutes into it, she just stops and stares at me. And she's like, do you have a stent in your calf? I'm like, no, I have a stent in my groin, for my kidney transplant, but not in my calf.
Yeah.
So she continues and she stops. She goes, are you sure? I go, yeah, I'm positive. Why? She goes, never mind. And she continues and she stops and she just stares at me. And her eyes start watering. And now I'm freaking out. I'm quick to cry.
Right.
I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, what is it that you see that's making you get emotional? And she goes, I'm not supposed to tell you. And I'm like, please. And I'm crying, like, please tell me. She goes, either you have a stent in your calf that you don't know about, or I'm looking at the biggest blood clot I've ever seen in my life. So immediately I'm like freaking losing it. She's like, I need to stop now. I need to call, what is it called? It's an emergency word they use, stat. They use call a stat. I need to get a doctor in to have a look at this. We're going to stop everything. So the doctor comes in, he checks me out. He releases me. It's like, listen, your doctor's going to call you. He's going to call you immediately. So I get home, I pull into my garage. My doctor calls me. He's go, hey, where are you? I'm like, I just pulled into my garage. He goes, dude, I'm surprised you could even drive home. He goes, listen, you have a blood clot and this is how bad it is. We need to get you on blood thinners immediately. And I'm like, well, doc, I got a flight in 24 hours. He's like, where? And I'm like, Australia. And he goes, son,
No.
don't take that flight. I go, listen, doc, they already paid me half my fee. And then, back then I was charging a lot of money. They paid me half my fee. And my flight, my airline flight was $11,000 because I was flying first class. He's like, Flex, I'm telling you, don't take that flight. I'm like, no, doc, listen, you don't understand. It's one of those beds that lay all the way down. I'll get up and walk around. He goes, okay, I get it, Flex. You're a hard head. Let me tell you like this. You get on that flight, you're not going to get off that flight the same way you got on. I kind of stopped, go, what do you mean by that? He goes, that's probably as blunt as I can put it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, listen, man, I'll think about it. So I get off the phone and my oldest daughter calls me right afterwards, just out of the blue. Hey, Daddy, how you doing? And normally I don't talk about my health problems to my kids, but I just told her. And she's like, Daddy, please don't get on that flight. I go, baby. I go, you don't understand. This is business. I take care of the family. If I don't do this, everything falls. Everything's on my shoulders. Yeah. And she goes, Daddy, please just don't do this. So I'm like, I'll think about it. So I remember walking upstairs and it was so painful getting upstairs. It was so painful that when I got to my bed, I was supposed to be packing. I passed out and I woke up like at 11 o'clock at night. Bro, let me tell you, my junk was numb. My whole right leg was numb. And immediately I'm sobbing. Yeah. So like I said, I know my doctor really well. I called him. He's like, get to the ER now. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
He goes, just get to the ER now. You don't have time. And I'm like, listen, I've been to the MR. He goes, just get to the ER and tell me you have a DVT. I'm calling right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so my stupid butt, I'm like, I'm going to be in there for a few hours. Let me stop by Burger King so I'm not hungry. I get there, and this guy at the valet recognizes me. He's like, hey, man, you want me to get a wheelchair to help you? And I'm like, yeah, I really appreciate that. So because they wheeled me in, I immediately got in the back of the ER. And
Right.
first thing they do is they run my blood pressure. And my blood pressure is 210 over 205. And the lady's staring at me. She walks out, comes back in. Somebody else takes it. That happens 3 times. Now there's like 6 doctors all just staring at me like, how do you feel? And I'm sobbing. I'm like, what do you mean, man? I'm in pain. So they say, listen, we need to do a blood clot buster. You know, you have a huge blood clot in your calf. And I guess I signed for it. I don't remember any of this because I was in so much pain, and they started my pain meds. And I guess I signed to be put into a coma for the surgery because I couldn't be awake.
Sure.
That coma, I was only supposed to be in it for like 5 hours. I was in it coma for 10 days. My kidney failed because I was toxic.
Right.
And my family's arguing because the doctor's saying we need to amputate immediately because his leg is toxic and his kidney is toxic and it's making him more toxic. It's gonna shut down the system. So my wife is like, no, don't amputate his leg. And my sister and my kids are like, no, amputate it. And she has the right, because she's my wife. And they're all angry at her. And they're like, listen, you guys don't know Flex. If he wakes up and his leg is gone, all of us are going to have hell to pay because he's never going to let us live it down. My sister has the conscience to actually take photos and videos of me while I'm in a coma and my family's coming to see me. So I literally have videos of like my son coming in to say goodbye to me. And what's crazy is like they keep telling me that I'm throwing the nurses all over the place because they're coming in and like, you're throwing the nurses all over the place, and I don't remember any of this. And bro, I don't know if you've ever been in a coma, but I talked to 2 of the people who's been in a coma, and they said the same thing. I had the most horrendous, evilest dreams all day. It was like one of those gladiator movies where they were just killing people and blood squirting all over the TV screen. So it's like I'm sitting front and center of people just massacring people, just the worst things you can imagine to kids, just blood splattering everywhere. And every time the person who's doing it, after he's done, he'd turn around and start walking towards me. And I'll go and I'll black out, and then it would happen over and over and over. So as I come out of my coma, every time like my eyes are about to shut, it immediately turns red and it goes back to that scene. So I'm like this, and I'm like, go to sleep. And I'm like, no. And they're like, why? And I don't want to tell them because I'm like, if I tell them these thoughts I've been having, they're going to put me in a funny form, So what they end up doing is they end up doing putting 2 cadaver arteries in my calf, one on the right, one on the left. So, and literally, I have videos of the doctor, looking at the surgery, like, hey, I think we saved the leg. It's the leg is nice and pinkish, it's turning back a good color,
Right.
and I'm able to walk with no pain. I'm like, oh my God, So I'm walking around the hospital, rehabilitating, like, man, I feel like, just amazing. And then slowly the pain started coming back before they even released me. And I know, I'm like, God dang, it failed. But I won't say nothing to nobody. So it starts getting worse and worse. And this is a time where I was going to start my first nutrition company. And I had a flight to Billings, Montana, to meet with the place I was going to make my supplements. and I'm limping, I'm in pain. We had the meeting and we're walking to the facility and I'm barely moving because the pain is so bad. And they keep like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. And I get back and I take my flight and I'm flying back with one of my business partner. And every like couple of steps, I'm bending and hunching over again like it was before.
Yeah.
He's like, "Flex." And I tell him what's going on. He goes, "Dude, how are you going to even make this flight?" Then it dawns on me the conversation my doctor told me about, don't get on a flight.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't think they really have high tech doctors here in Billings. I need to get back to Vegas, you know? So I'm like, I just pray, like, God, please bless me, make it. So I call my wife immediately. I tell her what's going on. She goes, "Okay, baby, just meet me at the hospital when you land." So when I got home, I called her. She goes, "No, come home and change clothes," because I was in a suit and tie. I'll have clothes ready and I'll drive you to the hospital. And we drive to the hospital, same hospital that did the surgery and everything. I'm back in there, and they immediately wheel me in and start, the process. And the doctor walks back in with just this freaking blank look on her face, and she's like, "Flex, we're there." I'm like, "Take it." And my wife's like, "What do you mean? Wait a minute, we need to talk about this." That I'm like, "Listen, baby, this one got nothing to do with you. You need to stay out of this. This is me." And I looked at the doctor. I said, "How bad is it?" She goes, "One side is 100% blocked. The other side is 90% blocked." And I'm like, "Well, if it breaks apart, it could kill me, right?" She goes, "Yeah." I go, "Take it." So that's kind of how that whole thing happened.
Dude. So, okay, that's definitely not the end of that story.
No.
So when you've come to terms with it, you tell the doctor, what is the process? Do they have to put you out? Do they, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you wake up?
So,
Like, what is it when you wake up? Are you still in the same mindset, or are you fucked? Like, well, how does that work?
right. So crazy. You know, through a lot of my surgeries here, after that, I discovered that Vegas doesn't have the highest quality doctors.
Right.
Vegas, and through my surgeons, they end up telling me this as I got to know them. They're like, "Listen, all the A's and B's, they go to Stanford, UCLA, all those hospitals.
Mm.
Here in Vegas, you get to C and a D minus." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" So literally, it took 3 days for them to amputate because a couple of the doctors refused to amputate, and their excuse was, "He's too high profile. If we mess up, we're going to be ruined." And I'm like, "That's what they're thinking,"
That's not
And here I
normal.
am, like, so I had this conversation with myself, and I'm like, "Listen," and I actually had the forethought, the videotape. I'm like, "I'm just going to videotape all this that's going on, how I think." So I'm like, if I wake up and I look down and my leg is gone and I'm okay with it, I know I'm going to be okay.
Right.
If I wake up and I look down there and I freak out, I know I'm not going to be okay. And, you know, them wheeling me to the gurney, I'm videotaping, everything, because I'm thinking like, how it's like, how do I explain this to people? You know,
Are you thinking to yourself, like, if I videotape it all, I'll feel okay about it, or like, why exactly is the videotape helping you?
You know what? Honestly, I'm thinking as I get through this, this could be like a movie,
Yeah.
or at the very minimum, this is going to be something I can post
Yeah, it's
about
cool. It's cool
on the
to
Instagram.
document. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
documenting it. So
Yeah.
I, they put me out. I wake up, I look down, I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be okay. And I'm literally like videotape myself. They're coming in. Jesus, wow. They come in and they keep having to change the bandage. And for the first time, I see it, and it's like it's massive. And like how you would think your leg would be round. It's massive, and it's just a block.
Yeah.
And I'm like freaked out of how it looks, and just the pain and everything is like, and then my dark thoughts start coming in on me,
Right.
dude. You're half a man. What are you doing? Why should you even be here? Freaking your wife is not going to want you. You're half a dude. Come on, man. Just give up. Just give up. And I keep fighting that battle. Like, no. And I keep going through every day. And I tell you, bro, one time I was trying to go to the bathroom and I hate asking for help.
Uh-huh.
I'm literally the type of person, if I was sitting in the restaurant and I was choking on food, I wouldn't scream because I don't want to like
Bother
impede
anybody.
on somebody, bother somebody else. That's how I am.
Yeah.
So I got to go to the bathroom. So I put myself in a wheelchair and I wheel myself to the bathroom and I lock it. And as I lock the wheelchair, I feel myself falling forward. Well, my left foot is already on the ground and I'm falling forward. So the only thing else is I put I don't like to call it my stump. I call it my residual limb. I
Right.
stick it out and it just hits the floor and it just sounds like this meat just, and I almost pass out, but I'm like, I can't pass out because I still got to do number two.
Right.
So so I pick myself up, get on the toilet, finish my business, wipe myself off, and then I pull a red wire for them to
Right.
come in.
Right.
And, they're yelling and cussing at me about all this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, you know, like, how could you be worried about being embarrassed about that? I'm like, I'm not having you guys come in here and wipe me while I'm all on the floor. But,
Can I tell you something?
yeah.
I think that might have been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Probably going to tell too much on this podcast, but I don't really give a shit because it's going to help somebody somewhere. I had to ask for help in that department for my wife. It was like my second week or something like that in the hospital. And because when you're on a ton of, for people who don't know this,
Oh, yeah.
when you're on a ton of opiates,
Yep.
you don't have to go that often for,
Nope.
but then you do. So it was like 2 weeks in, and I'm like, my wife had to help me, and I couldn't. There was no other way. There was no other way. I just couldn't not ask her. And it's like it's the fucking hardest thing in the world to do. And I'm like, I feel your pain, but I wanted to ask you when you were falling and you had one leg down, did you feel like you tried to put the other one out? Like
Yeah,
you have
because
to,
in my ignorance, it's still there.
that's what I was going to
So
ask
I
you.
shove it out, and as I see and I look down and I fall like, oh my God, it ain't there. But I want to go back to that part. Um, while I was in a hospital after being in the coma, that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get to the bathroom and get my crutches, and I know I got to go. And I'm squeezing like this, and I get my crutches, and I get to the toilet, and before I do, it just sprays everywhere. And it was a male doctor who was a male nurse who was my nurse,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of like a little bit of tension the first time we met, anyway. And he was black, so all these things like, oh my God, I got to ask this dude. So I pull the string.
I'm
He
sorry.
comes in. He looks at me, and to his credit, he has these humble, "let me help you" eyes instead of these like, "wow, dude, you crapped yourself," because that would have
Right.
just ruined me.
Right.
So he did, but I tell you, by the grace of God, he works amazingly. My wife, who we've been married for almost 9 years now,
Mm.
she's actually a nurse. So every time since we known each other, she never lets nobody watch me.
Yeah.
She'll
Yeah.
go to work, she'll work her 12 hours. She's like, just wait, I'll be there. I don't want nobody undressing him.
Yep.
I don't want nobody to give him. So while I was in my coma, she explained, she goes, no, I had to, you prep yourself. I had to clean you.
Yeah.
And I was just so mortified. I just stared at her and she goes, listen, baby, I don't care if I have to clean you for the rest of your life. I'm not going nowhere.
Right. Right.
And that's
This,
just it's bro. It's
I know. Trust me, my wife didn't. This is crazy. Like the doctor. So I'm friends with the trauma doctor that saved my life. we become friends now. And he said to me, he's like, what you have is very rare, because my wife didn't leave my bedside. And when I say didn't leave, I don't mean figuratively. I'm talking like she would put two fucking chairs together and sleep there at night. And
Yeah.
she did it every single night
Yeah.
for the whole month.
Yeah.
And she would only leave if she left. It would be because I had a family member there, because my family would take turns flying out to see me.
Sure.
So she would come and go. Like they would give her a break. They'd be like, go take a shower,
Yeah.
take a
Yeah.
nap, come back.
Yeah.
So they would give her a break. She would come back. I was gonna, when talking about the falling story, I'm gonna tell people something that happened to me last week that I haven't told anybody. Last week, me and Paul were training back, and we were doing one arm rows, like hammer strength rows,
Sure.
like the seated one.
Yeah.
So I'm on the seated machine. I got one arm that doesn't work, but I lifted it up and I put it on the handle
Yeah.
to brace myself, because I can still
Yeah.
use my fingers.
Yeah.
So I braced myself with the left arm, and the right arm, I'm doing rows. I had like 2 plates on there, a plate and a half. And I was really proud of myself, because I was only doing like a quarter, like a few weeks
Right.
ago.
Right.
So I get done the set and I'm like, fuck yeah. And I get up and my right foot gets stuck and I start falling back, and I'm falling back in this direction, right on this arm. And normally you would just put your arm out,
Yeah.
like stop yourself. Right?
Yeah.
So I fall, and in the time that it takes for me to start falling back, I can feel myself going, stick your arm out. Oh, that arm's not sticking out. You're going to fall. You're just going to
Yeah.
fall. So
Yeah.
brace. And I just went like a sack of potatoes, just fucking fell right on my arm. Paul ran over. Like I was laid out on the ground for a minute, like partially embarrassed, partially hurt.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Probably more embarrassed than hurt.
I think it was like half and half.
Okay.
It was half and half.
Pretty bad.
But anyways, yeah, listen, man, it's tough. So
That's
when
happened
you,
to me before I got my my prosthetic leg. I just I'm like, I'm gonna live. So I literally, so my right leg is going, that's your gas and brake leg. I
right,
literally taught myself how to drive with my left leg. I would go to the gym. I would wheel myself out, put my wheelchair in my trunk, hop around, get in there, drive, hop out, get my wheelchair. And a few times I'm trying to put my wheelchair in, it's heavy, so I'm slinging it.
yeah,
And one time I sling and I'm off balance. I'm like, oh my God. And I stick my right leg out and just like,
there's nothing there.
and it's nothing there. And oh man, it's like, so I understand, brother. I understand. I understand.
So let me ask you this, and I don't know if I'm going to end up in this place or not, but I'm just out of curiosity, and then we'll get back to some more positive things. But
Sure, sure, sure.
when you got the prosthetic, does life change for you? Like, does it feel like you're able to kind of live a little bit more normally? Do you feel a little bit more normal, or is it just that time has passed now and you're learning to live life just as you are, and it's fine?
So I have a really, really bad neuropathy,
Okay.
horrible. Like for the first 3 years after my amputation, I was at a level 10. I mean, literally, and I would just scream
Yeah.
all day long. All the opiates I had home, they wouldn't help me. They just don't touch nerve pain like that. What they would do is they would put me in an outer state because I would be so effed up on opiates
Yep.
that my pain would be like secondary noise, like if you had your TV playing, but you still aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like that. And then I have, for whatever reason, I have incredible phantom pain where it feels like my toes are being just rammed back, like somebody's like cutting the under belly up my foot, or just yanking my toes back, or lightning on fire, or sometimes like even now, if you look at lightning go across the sky, how it breaks up in these million bits, that's what it feels like in my leg,
Okay.
still to this point. So when I first got my prosthetic, it was really hard to put on because I was at a level 10.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctors literally said, if we would have took your leg the first time, you wouldn't have this neuropathy. It's because of all the surgeries we done that caused neuropathy. I'm like, how do you know that? He goes, it's just our hypothesis. So I've met people who literally have had their limb amputated and never had no pain. And then I met people's like, yeah, I've been at a level 10 for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So what that helped me to understand is my path is going to be mine. Is I can't lean on anybody else because I got a lot of it was people from all over the world who contacted me when I lost my leg, telling me how their story was. So
Sure.
that helped me to understand. Okay, well, everybody's different, and I mean, people who are running and jogging on their leg. I'm like, how do you do that, man? I can't even stand on mine. So
Right.
yes, now because for a while. It hurt so bad putting my prosthetic on that I just gave up and like, listen, I'm just going to live the rest of my life in a wheelchair. It's not worth the pain that I'm going through. And they kept trying different medications. I kept getting hospitalized over and over and over and over. And actually, one time I got rushed to the hospital and they did ultrasounds and they're like, you have a blood clot right in your hip, in your groin area to your right leg.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, what does that mean? And like, we might have to amputate you at your hip. And I'm like, what else?
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
And, I call my dad and I tell him, and my dad's a strong man. God, just never heard him cry. And I could hear him on the phone. It's like, okay, man, I'll talk to you later. Call me afterwards. And they're running these tests and everything, and they come back and they're like, listen, miraculously, your arterial vascular system is all blocked, but somehow you created so many your main arteries are blocked, but somehow you created so many arterial vascular veins that it's still feeding your leg. And I'm like, how is that? He goes, for whatever you've been doing that you caused your leg to be under such pressure, it's created all these other outlets.
Right.
So I was like, it was my training.
Bodybuilding.
Because when I went, like I said, I was going to the gym. I put my prosthetic on and I would do leg press and I would do leg extensions and all that. So that ended up saving my leg. But it got better and it is better now, bro. Yeah, I can get around. You've seen I travel, I walk. It's just for me. And again, this isn't you because everybody's had their story. It's just for me. I'm still in such a level of pain that whenever I think about walking, it almost traumatizes me.
Yeah.
If I put on my prosthetic to walk to the bathroom, it traumatizes me. Certain things I just won't do. I mean, I don't go out and hang out and walk around with my wife, and that hurts me because I know she's active like that.
Right.
When I go to expos, dude, I'm just like, I look at the parking lot and I'm already freaking exasperated. I'm like, Jesus. Yeah. And then, these buildings are so massive. I'm like, so I'm literally like, just biting my tongue, but I just endure it. I just sit there and I stay on my booth however long. And sometimes I never leave. And the reason why is because I'm like, it's going to be too painful to get up and walk to the bathroom and people are going to be stopping me. I just rather stay here and not even move. So, but on the other side of it, on the bright side of it, I'm mobile. Right. And I know people, I've met people who they don't have the ability to, a prosthetic is really, really expensive. Right. And because when I lost my leg, my calf was still so big. I think I'm on like my 14th prosthetic. Right. Dude, they're about 10 grand a pop. And I tell the story all the time when I had my leg amputated, Shaquille O'Neal, a mutual friend that called me, and he put Shaquille on the phone and he was like, dude, don't worry about it. I got you. I'll take care of it.
That's crazy.
Luckily, the disease that caused me to lose my leg put me in a category of what is it? I forgot. Is where I never have to work anymore.
Okay.
So
Category disability.
yeah, disability. Yeah,
Yeah.
disability for the rest of my life. So,
Right.
Medicare kicked in and all that stuff, and they paid 80% of it. But still, when you look at how expensive the surgery was, and then you're talking millions. So 80% of that ain't nothing, dude.
I know. It's crazy, man.
But on the good side of it, I'm mobile. If I have to, I can get up and walk. I can still walk. I can still go to my events. I can still get up and do that. And I see certain people with just both legs missing, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I follow people who have both limbs missing or just their torso, and they don't even have that ability. And I sometimes I drive around and I live in Las Vegas, so it's hot out here, and I'll see homeless people in wheelchairs with an amputee, and I'm like, what is that like?
Yeah.
I mean, at least I have a great support system. I have Medicare. I have a home that I live in. What is that like?
Right.
So
Right.
I'm not the worst, man. It could always be worse.
Right.
It could always be worse, and that's the way I look at it.
When you look at your life, do you look back at bodybuilding as a positive, a negative? Are you able to talk about it in a happy, like joyous way, or do you try and avoid it? Where are you at mentally with that?
I have the frame of mind that everything I've done, every ugly thing, every beautiful thing, every evil thing, every great thing, I wouldn't change absolutely none of it. Because if I change one of those things, it could completely change the trajectory of the finished product that I am right now.
Right.
So, a lot of times we're like, man, if I knew this back then, it's like, yeah, but we don't know if it would have went well. That's just the mind frame I'm in right now. So no, when I competed, I always said I'm not going to enjoy this because I have a show next weekend. Nobody's going to be afraid of me because I won the Arnold and I got to go to Europe now. Nobody's going to run from me.
Right.
They're going to be out to try to take me out. So I'm like, I'm never going to relax. So now, it was great. I can say I did like fierce battle with the greatest freaking bodybuilder of all times, and we were like going at it.
Right.
And we were great friends. I mean, Ronnie would stay at my house sometimes, getting ready for Olympia. So it's a beautiful thing, and because of that sport, I can still take care of my family right now. Right. So no, I have nothing negative to say about it. And people ask me like, what do you think about, not winning the Olympia? I'm like, hey, that wasn't meant for me.
Right.
Because as I said, I had strong suicidal tendencies back then. I was hard to handle back then. So I'm very much aware that if I would have got all power of being the greatest, no, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, man.
So let's get into your bodybuilding career for a bit. I want to ask you some questions because we've been talking about post bodybuilding career for about an hour now. So I want to talk about some of the highlights, but I want to know from you, what's your favorite version of Flex Wheeler, the bodybuilder?
Wow. It would be between the 98 Honor Classic and the 99 English Grand Prix.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is, I believe,
right up here. Yeah. That's the 99 English Grand Prix.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is your favorite look.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's 256 pounds. Me and Ronnie weighed the same weight there.
This is my favorite look.
Gotcha. And I understand why.
Isn't this around 93?
That's 1993, my first Honor Classic, my second pro show.
Look how clean the lines are. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
216 pounds.
So when you hear 200, when someone hears 216 pounds, you're how tall? 5'9"?
I'm about 5'10" and a half on a good day. When I'm depressed, about 5'10".
Okay. So 5'10", 216. So you would have made what they call classic. So you probably would have made the classic weight at 216. Do you think you could have been the classic Mr. Olympia, and would you have wanted to be?
Um, that's hard to say to go back, but in my mind frame now, no. Because like I came from a fight world, martial arts, and
Right.
we believed in fighting a person at their ultimate best. We wanted you to be in your best. So when I embarrass you, there's no excuses, and that's just the way I looked at it in
Right.
fighting. But no, I mean,
But that's not, but that's it's a totally different category, I guess. Like this is like they're both phenomenal flex for like this is a crazy physique. Obviously, you know that, and I'm sure millions of people have told you that. But the one in 93 is, Chris Bumstead is, classic Mr. Olympia for 4 or 5 years. I don't know, 5 years. I think.
yeah, yeah,
This arguably some people would say is better. So it's not that you're not going against the best; you're just going against a different category. So
right.
you're saying you'd rather take this 216 and put it against a monster at 270 and say, I can take you on.
Yeah, and which I know I wouldn't be able to defeat that. And it was proven, right? That look. I mean, I didn't achieve the Honor Classic look in '93, but in '93 at the Olympia, I was pretty lean there,
Yeah.
and it lost to a bigger guy. You know, that's 1999 at the English Grand Prix. Come on, man, that's stunting. I mean, that's so my analogy is my 1993 Honor Classic front double bicep.
Yes.
This guy would be too big and too lean. He wouldn't be able to defeat him. Yeah, my 93, I would be leaner,
Yeah.
but that would just be too much muscle. Yeah, that's it.
This is the Grand Prix with the greatest lighting on earth.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
You and Ronnie here standing side by side.
yeah.
Who is this on the right? This Dexter?
That's Dexter.
That's Dexter, yeah. That's
Yeah, I know.
Nasser.
Yeah.
This is a lineup, eh? Holy
Yeah,
shit.
it's a hell of a lineup, man. Yeah.
So what did you think? What was a show that you did where you're like, I know I beat Ronnie?
This one.
This
And
one.
actually, yeah, this one. And actually, me and Ronnie has talked about it on my podcast. We were the same weight. At that time, he was still dating Vicky Gates.
Yeah.
And after prejudging, Vicky Gates ran backstage. She's like, Ronnie, Flex is whooping your ass on stage. And he was like, I know. But I looked at him, I go, but you know you're going to win, bro. He
Well,
goes, yeah, but I know you're winning. I go, but come on, man. They're not going to take the title away from you here.
wait
You
a
know?
minute. Wait a minute. Explain to people that are everybody that's watching is not necessarily a bodybuilding expert. What exactly? There's a shot with you two together. What exactly do you mean when you say you're winning, but you're not gonna, but you're not winning, but you're gonna win?
No. I'm saying I'm winning, but I'm not going to win.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
saying I'm
Yeah.
winning, but I'm
Yeah.
not gonna. What do you mean by that?
Because it's a business.
So you're
Right.
saying because he was Mr. Olympia,
That's right.
and now you're a week later at the Grand Prix, they're not gonna embarrass
Right.
him by taking away the title.
Right. And you got to remember, back in my time, Joe Wiederst, Mr. Olympia, never lost.
Right.
Never lost.
Right.
Only once Lee Haney left
Yeah.
and went to, I think it was Twin Laps or somebody, and won. And what I was told back then was, you won, don't come back because you won't win again. And that was the only time a non-Weider athlete won a Mr. Olympia. Think about it now.
Wait a minute.
Other.
Wait a minute. Explain that to me. Who you won, but don't come. What do you mean? What did you mean by that?
So he was a 7-time Mr. Olympia. He left
Lee Haney was.
Yeah, he left Weider.
Yep.
Won his 8, but for what I was told, he was told, don't come back because you won't win again.
Because he left Weider.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's very well known. Achilles, stop. My dog is licking his feet. Is very well known in 98. I was with Weider.
Yeah.
I signed a contract, I think it was about 7 days before, and I went to Biochem, and I mean, this is all known. 98, I'm winning. The prejudging.
Yeah.
Me and Ronnie, we actually take a taxi back together after prejudging. He's like, "Hey, man, I just did a photo shoot backstage with Joe Weider."
Oh no.
And I was like, "Cool, man." He goes, "No, you don't understand, Flex. I've been a pro longer than you. Joey never said my name." I'm like, "Man, cool."
Yeah.
Ironically, we take a taxi back to the Olympia. He's like, "Man, Joe offered me a contract." I'm like, "Take it, Ronnie," because Ronnie had just got dropped by Muscle Tech.
Right.
So we go back and listen, Ronnie, he beats me. Now, I'm not saying whether he looked good enough or not. I'm just saying the business. He comes back and he beats me in the posing round. Really? And the pose down round.
That's not even around.
Back then it was.
Oh, it was around back then.
Yeah, back then it was scored. So if you look at it mathematically, he would have to come and beat me because Ronnie wasn't even in a call out with me doing prejudging.
Yeah.
So Ronnie's not known to be a great poser, and I was kind of known to be a great poser. So how do you come and beat me in that?
Right.
And then how do you beat me in a pose down round? And what I try to do in a pose down is I would do a pose and then walk to the other side of the stage, and everybody would follow me.
Right.
So I'm trying to demonstrate I'm the leader. They're following me. Right. I would hit a pose. As soon as they hit theirs, I'd turn around and I'd literally like, "Come on, guys, come on, let's go." Just showing that I'm the dominant force.
Yeah.
What I heard them say is like, "No, you are running from them." I was like, "What? What?"
Yeah.
So kind of, the scenario can be switched to whatever they want the outlook to be. I thought I was trying to show that I was dominant, and they said, "No, you're running."
So you thought you won in 98, and they gave score wise, and they gave.
But when I look back at videos, no, man,
you can see it, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. No, man.
But when you were there,
but in that competitive mind frame, I thought I won. I really thought I won in 99 because he was a little bit off, and I came like 17 pounds heavier, which is crazy.
99, I remember 99 when they called you second. You were really upset.
Yeah, because that's the first time I just completely locked in. I didn't cheat. I didn't do anything. Actually, I rented an apartment close to Gold's Gym because I lived an hour and a half away. And what it really taught me, I'm sure you've been at shows where they'll make a mistake. One person's first, the other person's second.
Yeah.
The person's first is happy, the person's second's upset. Oh, wait a minute, we made a mistake.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, the person who's second, who's first, he's now happy, and the person who's first is second, he's now upset.
Right.
And it all, like you said, when you're falling, these billions of thoughts, when you're putting them down, all these thoughts came to me. I was like, wait a minute. I'm not going to allow you guys to make me feel like I'm a loser, and no, these represent number two. No, in my heart, I'm number one. No, I'm not going to let you make me feel that way.
Right.
And that's what it meant. And it was no disrespect to Ronnie. Hence, I went and I embraced Ronnie with a hug. And I said to him, I whispered to him, like, "Hey, bro, I love you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be at your victory party tonight, right?" Because he's my friend. I don't want to be sitting over there in the corner all upset and making him feel uncomfortable because he just won.
Right.
So I'm take my butt to my room and lick my wounds and eat my pizza,
When you turn your back to the judges, because that was a very flagrant, like you purposely, like everybody kind of knew
what you
were trying to do.
Yeah.
Did
And
you?
he hiked his up way up too. I was
Yeah.
like, I
Did
don't know.
did you know that that was gonna? You were trying to send a message?
What I was trying to do is I was trying to look him up and down like you ain't nothing. And he's like, yeah, yeah. And I looked down, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, what do I do now? So I'm like, let me kind of just like, maybe nobody don't notice me pull mine down a little bit more. But
No, but
yeah.
I mean after. But I'm talking about after. I'm talking about after the show was done. Not just turn the back. Like I don't mean turn your back when you guys were posing. I know. I remember that too. I'm talking about after the show was done. I remember when they called him first.
All right.
You took the medals off
Yeah.
and you turned all the way
Yeah.
around and you turned
Yeah.
your back to the judges. You didn't leave the stage,
Yeah.
which would have been, I think you did something worse than leaving the stage.
Yeah.
You turned all the way and turned your back to the judges and just stood there.
Yeah. No, I was like, how do I handle this? And like I'm very conscious. Time is ticking. Everybody's staring. Cameras are going off.
Right.
How do I put on this face
Right.
and turn around? And yeah, that was just like, because I'm like, man, how did I lose? Because he won by 3 points the last year. He's a little off. I'm a little heavier, and I felt I was a little better. And even like backstage when we took our clothes off, everybody's like, Flex, you got him. I'm like, I know I got him. And I was just like, how do I turn around and not display these feelings that I had? But they just overcame, when they put them in. So what happened is they called me second, and I turned my back first,
Yeah.
and I walked, and then Peter McGuff was about. He said he thought I was gonna walk off stage,
Right.
so he was getting ready to cut me off, but I didn't. I turned back around, and that's when they put the medals on me.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. It was
Yeah,
such a crazy time. Like you guys are this is I don't think people realize what they were watching. Like you guys are like
no,
titans of the sport. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like just a
but
crazy, like this is it. This is the
yeah, that's
picture.
it. Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
picture.
yeah, that's it. And I'm like, how do I handle this? But like I said, now looking at photos, looking at videos, no, man.
Yeah.
He was just years ahead of all of us. All I'm happy to say is like, I did battle with the greatest Mr. Olympia of all times, and we went at it, man. We went at it.
Yeah. Well, not only did you get to battle with the greatest Olympia of all time, you also battled with another one that people would be considered in the top five of all time because Dorian Yates was also a five-time Olympia
Yeah.
winner and considered by many. Some people think he's better than Ronnie. I personally don't, but a lot of people put Dorian in that top five of the best ever. So, Flex, you stood. How many times were you second place against Dorian? Twice or once?
Um, Once against Dorian and twice against Ronnie.
Okay, how does it?
Yeah, because 93, then 94 is a card accident, and I was out of it.
Yeah.
And then
So I got.
yeah.
So I got to ask you because I heard Branch Warren say this because Branch Warren was second place in 2009. Branch Warren said second place at the Mr. Olympia is the absolute worst place you could ever be in bodybuilding. Is that is that kind of how you feel? Can you explain that a little bit?
As an athlete, yeah, it is because nobody remembers who second place is. You're almost there. You're barely there. You're the bridesmaid. So as an athlete, yes. But now being retired, no.
Yeah, of
It's an
course not.
honor,
Yeah,
but you're in that warrior mindset. You're not giving in. You're not going to give up. You're not going to admit another person is better than you.
right.
So at that time, yeah, being second, three times, like, yeah, right, man. Nobody gives a damn who second place is. I mean, even now they announce first place before they do second. I think that's even worse.
No, that's
They
better.
say it's better, but I think it's worse because
No, that's
they
better.
say first place, and now nobody's going to freaking pay attention to them putting the medallions on it for second place. But as an athlete, yeah, but being retired, looking at that record, no, man, it's not.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it because yeah, second place in the world, 3 times.
Come on.
That's incredible.
Yeah. But at that time, it's like, no. And see, the thing about it is that Olympia title changes your trajectory of your ability to generate money.
Right.
I remember Ronnie telling me, he's like, man, because back then, people didn't take photos, they bought your photos.
Right.
He'd be like, man, I'm like, how much you make? He goes, 15, 20,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm
Just
like,
selling photos.
just selling photos.
Yeah.
And regardless of whether you like Ronnie or not, or thought I should have won or whatever, man, you respect that Olympia title.
Right.
You respect that Olympia title. So you're going to stand in line because that's a part of history,
Right. Right.
So yeah, those things come to mind as an athlete because that could have changed your trajectory of your life.
How do you feel about judging nowadays? Because judging seems to be very, very different
Here
than
we
judging.
go, dog. Here we
No,
go.
no, hold on. I'm not trying to make it, not trying to make things bad for you. Hold on. I'm gonna get there. We're gonna make things bad later. So, okay. What I was trying to get at is this. I started following bodybuilding closely 99, 2000. So I didn't really I caught you like around the prime of your career or just after, whatever, around the time your prime.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was trying to say is this. Through the beginning of my career and through the beginning of me watching bodybuilding and most of my career, the Mr. Olympia was the Mr. Olympia, and it was very, very, you had to knock out the champ.
Yeah.
You had to you know what I mean? You couldn't just be better than him. You had to be you had to be way better than him.
I
Right.
agree.
So nowadays, I feel like things have changed dramatically nowadays because now there's more comparisons. They work them a lot harder. The title is not awarded to anybody ahead of time. Anybody can lose the title. It changes hands often. Do you wish you kind of missed, you wish you were in this era maybe where you had a fairer chance at grabbing that title?
Yeah. Well, first thing, if you allow me to correct you, they worked us harder back then.
Okay.
Because back then you'd have to stand in the middle. Okay, go to your right because they thought the judges couldn't see you that well. Okay, go back to your left.
Right.
Okay, stand in the middle. Hey, Judge so and so wants to see you. Go back to your right. So
Right.
it will be multiple times. Every once in a while, I won a show and there's a one and done.
Yeah.
First call out, one, do my poses, back out, flex wheel, and everybody. But most of the time, it was like that, going back to the side of the stage and stuff.
The reason I said it is I remember there was a period from 2000, it's kind of after you retired already. I want to say from 2008 to 2012, somewhere in there, where the bodybuilders were all complaining that they didn't get enough call outs. There wasn't enough call. There wasn't enough call outs.
Yeah, I didn't get called out against this guy. Yeah, I remember.
There wasn't enough comparisons. There wasn't
Yeah.
enough this, that. So I'm just kind of going by that. So maybe earlier it was different.
Yeah.
So anyway, but the main point I'm trying to get to is the title is not given to anybody. You have to earn it. And I feel like that's very different than it was for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it can be looked at like I was born in, I competed in the wrong era. I think, there's been enough comparison photos of me of the last couple of Mr. Olympias, stuff like that. And, again, I just want to say the one about Derek, I didn't post that. I reposted it. I know he probably hates me. I just
What happened?
reposted it.
Tell me what happened.
Oh, so somebody sent me a post of me and Derek comparing each other. Keep going down. No, it's not that one. Keep going down.
Oh, my thing's still loading. It's my internet here is not great. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So they sent a picture of that 1999 photo that we had showed of me.
Yeah.
And a current picture of Derek Lansford doing the same shot.
Right.
And I was like, man, should I repost this? And it was like 4 in the morning. That's like, should I repost this? And I'm staring, I'm like, man, that's a good shot. But I'm like,
Oh no.
man, people are gonna hate me for this.
Yes.
And I reposted it. And let me see, it just went viral. I mean, people have had me on their podcast because of it.
Really?
Um, let me see.
I didn't even know. I'm trying to find it. I got a better connection now.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm too far down here. This is the Grand Prix.
No, keep going. You're almost there.
Okay, I'm almost there. This
There
one.
it is. Yeah,
Oh
that.
no, no.
Yeah.
You look so much better than Derek there, but it's not fair because this is like a squat picture of him. I don't even know if this is like a actual, is this realistic?
Yeah, it's a real picture of him from the show. Yeah.
It looks like it's like the ratio's off or something. I don't know if that's how he really look because you look like you're a giant here.
Yeah. Well, I'm a lot. The thing about it also, when he does that pose,
Mhm.
he contracts his torso down to bring his abs in.
Yeah,
I always thought, I wasn't the tallest guy, so I don't want to be shorter.
right.
So I'd always stand up straight. Yeah. So, but yeah, it just went viral. And I kept saying, listen, this is a repost. I didn't create this. It was a repost. But to your point, yeah,
That's
if
funny.
I was competing in this era, I think I'd probably be a multi-champion, Mr. Olympia. I think probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but you can say that also about a lot of guys. So with Sean Ray, so with Chris Cormier, so with Kevin LeBron,
you think so? Do you
a
think
couple of times.
you think older guys all think that their era is the hardest, the best?
You know what, I hate. So me personally, I hate comparing eras to each other because it's not fair.
Right.
And even if it's true, I don't think the current era is going to appreciate that.
True.
So I don't think it's fair, but I know it's a massive argument that the '90s were the heydays of the sport
Right.
for a number of reasons.
Well,
Um,
you could say that, or you could say now is the heyday of the sport because now you have $1 million prize at the Arnold Classic. You have a $600,000 prize at the Olympia, and you have more people competing in bodybuilding as a whole than ever before.
yeah,
Like there's kids now, like think about this. I don't know about you. I mean, you lived in California, so it's probably different, but when I started bodybuilding was not cool. It was like a cult thing. Like those are the weird dudes over there that want to be huge.
standing in underwear on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So now it's like the cool thing to do is to go to the gym and make
everybody
videos.
doing. Yeah,
Yeah. So like if
everybody
you,
trains. You got even girls,
yeah,
teenagers in there training, doing squats and deadlifts and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I think when they say that,
You mean
I think
competitively for
trying
example.
to,
Yeah.
I think they're trying to refer to the depth of how many um, Hall of Famers that were there,
Mm.
uh, and the lighting. I think was better.
The lighting is definitely
Obviously,
better.
obviously the money is better. Obviously, there's more categories, and the title is changing hands a lot more. But again, I contribute that to the WIDA organization is no longer existing.
Right.
When you just look at history, every athlete that ever won the Mr. Olympia was a WIDA athlete,
Right.
and that's because he got that athlete. He paid for that athlete to be under his umbrella.
Right. I have to ask you this though. I personally don't like that. And I don't know if that, maybe that's why people talk about politics and bodybuilding and maybe that's a dark mark on the sport. I don't know. It's up to people to interpret for themselves. But I will say this. You have to take the good with the bad. And that's kind
Of
of
course,
to me how life works. So maybe that was a negative thing, but I think to myself, when Joe was around, didn't it was more prestigious in that shows had to be in a theater, the lighting had to be right. Like you really, I think the key was let's make the bodybuilders look as fantastic as possible.
agreed. I mean, come on, man. We're competing in Mandalay Bay.
Right.
I mean, it's just that feeling of having to walk, and we weren't hitting. We had to walk all the way through all the spectators to get to the auditorium. I mean, no, I mean, listen, if it wasn't for Joe, me and you wouldn't even be talking right now.
Right.
If it wasn't for Joe and Ben. They love the sport. Now understanding the sport, they didn't make any money off the Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make any money off of having 20 of the elite bodybuilders. He just loved the freaking sport, and he wanted to be accepted globally, and that's why he always tried to get us into the Olympics.
Right.
And a lot of us then were like, no, I don't want to compete in the Olympics because we won't get paid. Not understanding the bigger picture.
Yeah.
If you got that gold medallion, here comes endorsement from all over the place. We didn't look at it that way. We looked at it as Olympia. We got paid, and we didn't want that taken away from it. But no, I mean, Joe just loved the sport. I mean, it bothers me that today's bodybuilders don't get the opportunity of walking into his office.
Yeah.
And sitting there and being able to talk to this man.
Mm-hmm.
And he loved bodybuilding so much that if you go in there to meet with him, you are definitely dropping your pants and taking your shirt off. There's no way you're getting out of there.
In a good way.
It got to the point.
In a good way, not a bad way.
In a good way. No, you're going to flex for him.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where we would actually wear suit and ties in there, thinking that he's like, no, take that shirt off. Because it's like, his thing is like, how are you going to come in and ask me for money when you're out of shape?
Right.
And it wasn't about being out of shape off season. No, you're being paid.
Right.
You're being paid for photo shoots. So no, you're going to be in decent shape all year round. And especially if you're going in there to ask for a pay increase, you better look good,
right.
When you're walking in. That's what it was about. And he just loved muscle. So no, I mean, if it wasn't for Joe, none of us would have a job right now.
So you competed against Dorian Yates, and in my opinion, the sport was kind of going in one direction and then changed direction when Dorian Yates came along.
Yeah.
When you look back, all the way back, you have a very clean line of aesthetic bodybuilders. Even the Mr. Olympias, even though they were the biggest bodybuilders on stage, like Arnold was arguably the biggest. Lee Haney was arguably the biggest. They were still very aesthetic all the way through.
Yeah.
It wasn't until you got to Dorian. I think in 93, he was still aesthetic. Like, he still wasn't like, but as he got bigger, he started to change shape.
Yeah.
Now, I've always wondered this, and I wonder how you feel about it, because the other side of the coin was like people like you and Sean Ray. Kevin was kind of in between both, but he was more on your side. On your side. Chris Cormier.
Yeah.
This was like the aesthetic side. And then Dorian's kind of over here by himself.
Right.
Right? Why do you think the judges went that direction? Because I think that's what kind of changed bodybuilding a bit.
Sure. No, I agree. And this conversation's been had a lot. I think Milos really freaking gets heated over this conversation because he's like, if you would have won, the look would still be a certain look now.
Right.
And because he won, he allowed a different type of look to urge you in. I don't know. Bro, I really don't know why they chose them over me.
It's not just over you personally. I guess I mean, even look like stepping out and looking at it from satellite, they decided to go more mass.
Yeah. Then aesthetic look that has historically always been there.
So I guess I'm not even asking, like, I don't want to make it, I don't want to make you feel bad and say, oh, they just didn't want you. I'm saying like, why not aesthetic? Like,
I agree.
Do you wish they would have went more in aesthetic direction to keep the sport kind of going in that line?
Yes and no. Yes, because I think more people appeal to my look and that they could achieve that versus his. But on the other side of it, what people confuse is what they're really saying is I have a desirable look.
Right.
We're both aesthetic, right? And we both have symmetry. It's just my look is more pleasing to the eye to look at. That's what it really is. The other part I say no is because I wasn't mentally prepared for it. I was not mature enough to become that champion.
Right.
So I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's some shots. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. What do you think physique wise? What do you think? Because you said to me when you look back at Ronnie, you said you can see why they chose him. Do you feel like that same thing applies when you see yourself with Dorian Yates?
Not so much. Not so much because
Yeah.
he definitely had me on size. And in certain poses, probably only the glutes and hamstrings was he leaner than me.
Yeah.
But you know, if you say like he had me on size, then I could say I had a better waist to shoulder ratio than he did.
Right.
I could say that my legs were rounder and more leaner, more striated than his was. So there's a back and forth that you can go, but at the end of the day, they chose his look over mine. Even a definition in our shoulders, our waist. Look at his waistline, versus mine. His pecs are a little square, mine are more rounder.
Yeah. Yeah.
My arms are bigger. Again, my shoulder to waist ratio is bigger,
Yeah.
is greater than his. My legs were rounder and by far more striated. His, not that he wasn't in shape, he was peeled to the bone. I
Mhm.
mean, but the truth is they chose to go that way, my mind frame now, it is what it is. But back then, no, I didn't think I lost. On stage when they awarded me second, I was elated. I didn't know that much about bodybuilding. I was just like happy to be there. Like, oh my God, really? I got second. And my highlight of that night was meeting Sergio Olivia. Walking back to the hotel, he was walking back at the same time and he opened the door for me.
Mhm.
And I looked at him and I was like, oh my God, you're Sergio Olivia. And he's like, son, you don't understand, but you won tonight. And I'm like, I don't care about that. I met you. But
That's awesome.
yeah, it is what it is. I'm comfortable with it now. It doesn't bother me anymore.
So how old? That was 93, right? Or 94?
Yeah,
93.
93.
How old were you then?
I think 27, 26, 27.
27 and second place in the world in bodybuilding. You had no idea what it meant.
No. I tell you the honest thing that I'm most proud of that I don't talk about that much is and it's still whoever's going to break that record haven't even turned pro yet. I'm most proud that I had the best pro debut in the history of the entire sport.
What's that?
And so I won the Ironman in '93.
That's
And
it. That was your pro debut?
yeah, the Ironman in
Yeah.
'93.
Yeah.
And Vince Taylor was in that show.
Okay.
So I went up against the number 2 ranked in the world and
Yeah.
defeated him.
Yeah.
And then the next week was the Arnold Classic. And I went up against the number 2 and the number 3 ranked, Vince Taylor and Lee Labrada, and defeated them with perfect scores.
That was your pro debut?
Then I went to the English Grand Prix against Vince Taylor and I won again. And then I won, and I think it was in France. So I had 4 first place victories.
Shit.
And then placed second in Olympia. And not that it matters, but it does. My first few shows wasn't against anybody. It was against a number 2 and number 3 rank
Right.
that was already in Olympia. So they weren't garbage or anything. Not to say that any competitor is garbage, but
No, but
these cats are really high on the totem pole, as high as you can get.
right.
And I defeated them. So that's what I'm most proud about because whoever's going to break that record hasn't even turned pro yet because they got to jump off
No one's
their
gonna
first 4 shows to get to even be in that calling. So yeah,
no one's gonna break that now. Because now I don't even know how to put it. It's almost like the guys that are like the prime guys are 32 years old now. Like
Mm,
guys are hitting their stride at like, you know,
yeah.
early 30s. Like
Yeah.
Derek, I think Derek's 30 now or 31. I don't know. But I don't think anybody's ever you won the Arnold Classic your first year.
Yeah. My second pro show was the Honor Classic.
That's
Yeah.
so crazy.
Yeah.
And you didn't even know what it meant.
Oh no, heck no. When I won at the when I won at the Ironman, my thought was like, okay, Vince, he's a seasoned pro. It
Mm,
was just a warm up. He's going to smash me next weekend, and Lee LeBron is going to be there. They're going
yeah,
to show me really what's what.
right.
And when I won, I was like, this is a fluke. They're probably going to call me any minute now and say this was a mistake. And I remember respectfully, Lee LeBron walked up to me and he's like, hey man, this is you now. It's you. I'm like, how could you say that, Lou? And he goes, listen, my time has passed. It's your generation now. You got it.
Shoot.
And then to win the next two pro shows, I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, my thing was, listen, I did bodybuilding because it was a way of paying my bills. I don't look at it as a sport.
Right.
And I got beat up a lot by all the guys. Like, how could you say that this is sport? I'm like, no, this pays my bills. This is the reason why I do this because it pays my bills. If I wasn't making money, I would go and get another job. I wouldn't do this. Yeah, that's my second show. Yeah,
This,
my second show.
Flex, this might be like after Ronnie 98, this might be my favorite physique of all time. This is definitely at this show, at this age, this is definitely my favorite Flex Wheeler ever.
And bro, I didn't know nothing about dieting. I
Look at
mean,
you're peeled too. Like glutes were peeled, everything was peeled.
everything. I didn't know nothing about dieting. I didn't know nothing about diuretics. I took an aldactone and aldactazide the night before. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
But you see, I think people need to understand the importance of a healthy body produces the best results
Yeah.
because I would argue that because of some of the kidney issues you're having that you didn't
Yes.
know about till later,
Yeah.
that's why we're seeing shredded glutes at 93, but not shredded glutes at 98.
I agree. I
Right.
agree 100%. I agree that 100%. Not knowing, and like I said, having to take a little bit more directs and still not achieving that physique.
Right.
And them saying that, FSGS had started. Listen, I
Look at the tie-ins here. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Flex.
oh no, I know. Yeah, look at the
This is
bicep, the shoulder, and the tricep, all
like
that.
like these tie-ins are not that's not normal, man.
I
Sorry,
had
go
no
on.
idea what was going on, bro. No idea. I was just
But that's why I say the health matters because you probably weren't even dieting like traditional food like that we think of dieting, were you?
no. You know what? I was eating chicken and rice with a banana and Gatorade. That was my diet back then.
Yeah, and this is the physique it produced.
Yeah.
And I bet you were dieting a lot harder in 98.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Listen, I ate at Sizzler twice a day up until a week before that show.
Are you serious?
And it would always be freaking, their hibachi chicken with tons of ketchup and French fries up until 2 weeks before the show, and then I cut it out.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
But you're right. I believe that, and that's why I think a lot of the younger guys who come on, they have such clean lines
Yes.
and stuff like that because their bodies is a lot healthier. I didn't know it, but back when I was 19 years old, this doctor, just for whatever reason, is like, "Hey, let me do some blood work on you." He's a good friend that worked at the gym,
Mm,
and back then I was leaking. I was leaking zero point 0.6 grams of protein in my urine,
right.
and I was like, "Well, what does that mean?" He goes, "Well, Flex, if you are a drinker, I would tell you to slow down, but I know you don't drink."
Hmm.
Well, now we know that's a first sign that you might have this kidney disease. Now we need to look into it deeper and
Right.
monitor it. So now, I mean, like for years, people like, oh, that was an excuse. It was just the drugs that really ruined your kidneys. And,
Right.
I would really get upset with that because I'm like, listen, like I said, if I peed in the bed, I got to sleep in it. So if drugs that cause this problem, I'm sorry, my dog, is he too loud?
No, no, it's okay.
Okay.
You're good. Yeah.
If drugs that cause the problem, then the buck would end with me.
Right.
Because it's hereditary, I gotta like warn my kids of this, and they gotta warn their kids and my grandkids and so it's ongoing. So I wish it just stopped with me because I would never have to worry about them, but
Right.
they got to be aware of this because it's hereditary.
Right.
And I mean, it skipped my dad's generation because he's fine, he's healthy, but I don't know what my grandparents died of because they died back when they were like, oh, it's old age.
Yeah.
We don't know what it was back then. So, and that's a really, as a parent, that's a really hard thing to know that possibly transferred, a deadly sentence to, one of your offsprings. That's not cool.
But we have to also tell people that what we do can speed things up.
And there you have it.
Right.
And that's what I was alluding to when I said I went back on everything and 2003
Yeah.
and end up in a hospital. So remember, at the beginning, they said you're not going to make it out of your 30s without having kidney failure. You won't make it out of your 40s
Mm.
without having a kidney transplant. I sped all those things up.
Yeah.
And, crazy thing about it, I just got a contract to be a natural athlete. They're like, hey, we like that. We're going to sponsor you.
Yeah.
And they're paying me okay money. So I'm like, what I was running from, I actually ran right into and caused it to happen a lot sooner. So of course, yeah, it can speed things along and
Right.
traumatize it. Just like when I competed naturally, I ended up getting dialyzed because the toxic waste from all the
Yeah.
protein and the cardio.
Yeah.
So
But
imagine now I'm
yeah.
introducing all these drugs and everything else into it and diuretics. Of course, that's going to
Yeah.
traumatize the kidney even more.
Yeah. Bodybuilding in general is hard on the body just because of the extreme nature of it.
Sure,
Whether it's natural or not,
sure.
you're still, I mean, obviously not natural is going to be even more harmful in certain ways, but it can be dangerous either way if your body's not prepared for it.
Sure.
Um,
Well, I was going to say even naturally because one of the most dangerous times for us is when we're getting ready to go on stage. That's
right,
when we're manipulating water.
right,
And even if you're natural, you're still naturally manipulating water, which can be very devastating. It can be very toxic on
yeah,
the kidney. So it doesn't matter. Um, you know, Bodybuilding, I feel is probably one of the most extreme sports there is. For one, there is no on or off season.
yeah,
Our off season, we're still pushing the pedal.
yep,
Every other sports, they get to go and hang out and do whatever they want. Every sport has to come into our world to better themselves.
yeah,
We don't
yeah,
have to get better to go play basketball. Every actor or actress to get ready for their role have to come into our world.
mm,
Even if you're just trying to be healthier, you got to come into our world to get better.
yeah,
So our sport is a birth of all of the sports. It really dumbfounds me that we don't get that respect. I mean, back in my time, people look at us crazy when we walk down the street, yet their kid is playing with a little freaking figurine of
yeah,
a G.I. Joe or a He-Man that
yeah.
looks just like us, but the walking version of it is frowned upon. So
Well, I think because of the success of bodybuilding as a whole, that is slowly changing. Because back in your time, so few people knew what it took to get to where you were that they just thought it was a steroid. Oh, he just took a shot and he looks
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
I would probably say 75% of people on earth still think that's the same way it is. You just take a shot and you get Flex Wheeler.
yeah,
But I think more and more people, because you said, like you said, all those young people are training now.
yeah,
more and more people understand that even if you take steroids, you're not going to look like Flex Wheeler the next day.
Yeah.
You're still going to look like, you know, if you're a bag of shit, you're going to look like a bigger bag of shit, as Dorian Yates would say.
Last Dorian there. Yeah. Beautiful put, man. Beautiful put.
What I want to ask you about is a couple things. So kids, how many kids do you have?
I have five.
5 kids.
5 kids. Yeah.
How's that? How's
Yeah. I have 5 kids.
5 kids.
4 grandkids and 2 great grandkids.
Do they all love what you do or love what you did?
They all know who I am. They all know who I am.
Do they know you're an icon and legend of a sport?
No, I know like my granddaughter does, because she'll call me from school and be like, I was just talking to this girl and she couldn't believe that you're my grandchild. I go, no, that's my Papa Strong. Let me talk to her. So she does. My other grandkids, I guess they do.
Yeah.
I guess they do, but I don't. It's nothing like I push it on them. I mean, like to them, I'm either Papa or Papa Strong. What my granddaughter called me with. I'm like, Papa's not strong no more. She goes, no, you're still Papa Strong, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
But no, it's a beautiful thing, having kids and grandkids. And, you know, again, you're talking to a guy that didn't think he'd live this long. And here I have great grandkids. So no, life is beautiful, man. I understand now the chain reaction that I would have stopped if I would have ended my life all those other times. And I understand the forces that was trying to prevent me from doing that, because of all the millions of people I've affected, even just being completely honest about my good, my bads and stuff like that. And even you just revealing, a lot of people, that's hard. A lot of people don't understand. That's, you know, even though for me, it comes natural, it's not hard at all to do that. But that's a difficult thing to show yourself in your weak points, especially when you've been way, way up here. A lot of people can't do that. You know, I've met a lot of great, talented athletes and actors and political figures that would be like, no, I would have checked out when that happened. So,
you know, I gotta ask you though, like, a lot of people say that, but I feel like people have more resolve than they give themselves credit for. A lot of people say like, man, if that happened to me, that would be it for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like when push comes to shove and people are put in a position, you know, I'm not saying everybody handled it well, but I don't think a lot of people have, like, I think people have more resolve than they give themselves credit for. And people can work through things. I just don't think they believe they can until they're actually in the position that you know.
I'm gonna have to tend to agree with you, because I mean, like in my 20s, when I looked at older people, you know, I'd be like, come on, man, why are you even in here? Look at you, dude. You know, like, man, your body's failing. Your hair won't even grow. Now I'm at age and I'm like, yo. So, you know, and I'll use it better in this way, you know, like a lot of our men and women who serve our countries, not just the United States, everyone who served their country, have to do some unthinkable things at time. And me and my normal flesh, I'm like, I couldn't do that.
Right.
But put myself in that predicament, and chances are I'm going to click over and do what I have to do. So you're right. Just like, you know, like I said, when you're laying in bed looking up at your family members, you become the strong one.
Right.
You know, and they're not. But that same thing would happen. So I do feel that more people would be able to gut through it. I don't know how well they'd be able to handle it, but they'd be able to gut through it. But, you know, it's just hard to put your brain into that situation when you're not fully having to be in it, when it's no choice. You're going to have 2 choices, fight or flight.
Yeah.
I think a lot more people would fight than they would flight.
I just think because people tell me all the time, like, oh man, you're handling this so well. And it's so special what you're doing. You're inspiration to so many people and blah, blah. And I think to myself,
but it's true.
But I do think it's helping some people. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't think I'm special.
I agree.
You know, like somebody else would do the same thing. Maybe they don't have a platform to do it, but like they're going to live the same way. They're going to get through. They're going to find a way. I don't think I'm any more special than anybody else.
I
So
agree. With everything I've been through and what I'm going through, I completely agree. I don't think it's nothing special. My mind is like, what else would you do? I mean, what are you supposed to do? You
right.
know, I can't lay down and just quit. You
That,
know, I just,
that's kind of, yeah.
what do you do? So I look at it the exact same way. You know, and it's for that reason, it's hard to accept compliments when I get them. Now I've kind of learned to just shut up and say thank you.
Yes.
Normally I like, no, I don't agree with that. And
Yeah.
now understanding that's kind of being disrespectful to the person who's giving you a compliment. So now I'll just shut up and like say thank you. Try not to be nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
And just like, oh, thanks. Yeah. Anyway, so how's the weather? Trying to give some gravity to it. But
Exactly. Yeah.
that's what I'm quick to do. Yeah, thank you. So anyway, how you doing? Hey, what's going on?
That's exactly it. So Flex, but I'm going to let you go because I know we've been like on for a while now. I really appreciate your time, but I want to ask you, you had a lot of passions. I've seen a lot of passions come and go in your life, or maybe they're not gone, but I know fighting is one of your passions. I know cars is one of your passions.
Yeah.
I want to ask, you've had some crazy cars. What is the best? Because I'm kind of a car guy, a little bit more motorcycles now, but what
Yeah. Oh my God. I was into motorcycles. I had a motorcycle company for a while.
did you?
We built choppers. Yeah, it was called Flex Wheelers Choppers.
Oh, you built choppers like
Yeah, we
back
had
in the
choppers.
heyday of choppers with like Orange County Chopper and
Oh
all
yeah,
that.
exactly. Back in those days. Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't see. I
Yeah.
could see you on a chopper.
Oh yeah. Some crazy. I don't know if you I don't know if it's that popular of an engine, but back then it was called a Patrick Racing engine. It was one of the most expensive engines,
Really?
V-twin engines. Yeah. And I had that on one of my choppers. But yeah, those are the engines we ran. But they were really high end. I started doing it just before the big financial collapse where people were losing their houses. Nobody's going to pay $130,000 for a bike when they're fighting to try to keep their house, or feed their family.
Yeah, that's what happened with Orange County choppers. They were popular
Exactly.
around that time too, and then they just kind of
Yep.
like fizzled out.
Yeah. So you're
So
going to ask the craziest car that I've ever had?
I was gonna ask that, yeah, but I'm looking for your choppers.
Let's see. Did you talk?
Flex wheeler choppers, motorcycles. I typed
Oh
in.
no, just flex wheeler choppers, and it should pop up. Take the motorcycle off. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
Should pop up when I was at the owner class. That's crazy. It pops up. Oh, there you go. Down here over.
Is that you?
No, no, no. Go back out of that.
This
It's
one.
right there. Yeah, yeah. That's what I
Oh,
had. That's one of my choppers that I had at the owner classic when I displayed at the owner classic. Yeah, yeah. That was one of
nice.
them.
So this
Yeah,
is your company.
yeah. That was my company.
You've had a lot of companies, eh? Are you good at business? You just buy, you just make them and sell them, or are you bad at business? They just go and then they crash. Like, which one is it?
um, Bro, I don't know.
Both.
All I can say is, what is a good friend of me told me, every overnight success is 10 to 15 years in the making,
That's so
so it's,
true.
people don't see all the failures. They just see when you made it, like, oh my God, you made it. Wow, that was fast.
I know, right?
Not realizing how you struggle and all that. But probably the craziest car I've had, engine wise would be, I had a 2007 Dodge Charger, and it was a 426
I remember that.
twin turbo. And it was just, at the time, I just thought it was so freaking insanely fast. But I have a Tesla S Plat,
Oh God.
and that thing just, yeah, that's just, I see all the supercars around Vegas. And I look at all of them like, oh, you can't even get with me. Like hit three times. I'm like, you can't even, don't even look at me. Don't even look over in the car at me.
Yeah, but you're driving electric. Don't you miss, the roar of the engine, the sound of the exhaust?
I still have my Chargers it's in a garage right now, and the batteries are dead or everything. But yeah, it's nothing about that V12 sound. It's nothing. Just that rumbling and that feeling and all that. It's the electric car is kind of scary because it's it's power that you don't feel, and it just comes on so sudden. And next thing you know, you're doing, over 100 miles an hour, and you look down because you don't feel any of it, at all. So it's scary. I will say this: the brakes are not good.
No.
No, on a Tesla, they do not stop you.
Have you ever done any track days or anything like that? Or
Yeah,
quarter
yeah,
mile runs?
I used to drag race my Dodge Charger. Yeah.
Wait, what's your fastest quarter mile time? Do you remember?
Yeah, my fastest time in a Charger, and we didn't have it dialed in, so Achilles stopped. It was 850 foot-pounds of torque and 892 horsepower. So it was designed, and it was we're only at, I think, 14 pounds, no, 13 pounds of boost. And it was built to handle 20 pounds of boost. So it was supposed to be a 6-second car.
Yeah.
But what we understood is, like, my tires, I had big 405 Pirellis on there.
Yeah.
And cars that really hooked up the tires had to be closer in. So I would have had to cut the shaft and had the cars, a little bit in. So I kind of existed in both worlds, where the car looked exceptionally great and it had crazy horsepower, but no, it would just light the tires up.
Yeah.
And I'd be driving down a freeway at 80 miles an hour and upshift, and the tires would just freaking light up and be smoking everywhere.
Yeah.
So, but I love.
Now you're into supplements. You have a supplement company?
Yep.
What is that? Flexwheeler.com, or what's the
Flexwheeler Nutrition?
Flexwheeler Nutrition.
Yeah, Flexwheeler Nutrition.
How is that going?
Great. Great, man. All my other companies were here in the United States. So Flexwheeler Nutrition is more Europe, China, Asia, and India. So now, because of the various different conflicts, what I'm discovering is a war in India affects me tremendously.
Yes.
So that's really challenging, because things are out of your control. Like my products sell really good in Russia, but I can't go and tour there because it's too volatile.
Right.
So that's really different, and something different to learn. Like, global events now will affect you. Even like where we were considering coming to the United States. Obviously, the United States is the melting pot of all supplement companies, and it's not how good your product is, it's how much money you have to throw into marketing and creating that wow factor.
True.
So we were considering coming to the United States, because you do have to have a presence here to exist anywhere else globally. But now, because of the trade and all that stuff of how much, it's like, okay, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to be more difficult. So we're on Amazon USA, but to actually have our products sold here in stores and stuff like that, some things are going to have to change with our international decision-making stuff. Won't go too deep into that.
You also have a podcast. How is that? You're now into podcasting.
Yes.
Are you enjoying podcasting?
I am, man. I'm still, I still have, like, my competitive mentality. So I look at everybody else who's successful, and it makes me doubtful. But what I don't do is, I don't look at where they were when they started.
Right.
I look at where they are where they are now.
Okay.
Which I shouldn't do, that's bad for me, but that's what I do. And, it's damaging, but I enjoy it. My podcast is a little different. I made my mind up. I'm not going to just do bodybuilding. I have friends who are actors. I have friends who are in the military. I've dealt with a lot of health problems. So we do a lot of talking about various different health problems and having specialists on, and doctors and stuff like that. So I'm enjoying it. The two probably biggest names I've called on so far would be Ronnie Coleman and Randy Couture, who are great friends of mine. But Michael J. White is a great friend. He was already like, yeah, I'll do it. Terry Crews, like, yeah, I'll do it.
That's great.
I haven't got Mickey Rourke to commit to because he's just like really, he hates being in public, even though he's a massive public figure.
Yeah.
But in my brain, I'm like, I need to build my following up bigger before I bring on
No,
massive name like Michael J. White,
no,
where
no. Just
really
bring on the people you know, talk to them, have fun, and put it out. And just let people watch. Don't worry about waiting till you're big enough.
because it never happens. That's like a family. Oh, I gotta wait till I have enough money to be able to afford the kids. I gotta wait till I have a house. But you're right.
Because the cool thing about podcasting is if he's your friend, you can have him on more than once,
It's true.
right? You have him on
True.
once, people watch, then you have him on later when you have more followers and they get introduced to him. So it's like, you know,
True.
anyway.
True. Thanks for that. I appreciate it, man.
No, hey man,
You
it's
just helped me. Yeah.
my pleasure. Flex, do you still like being called Flex or you like?
You know what? I battled with that. Because I'm more who I am as Ken Wheeler than I am Flex Wheeler.
Right.
But the reason why I still choose to be called Flex is that's a marketing tool that I created globally.
Right.
People would pay for that type of marketing ability, and people have paid for that name, the utilization of that name, not Kenny Wheeler. So
Right.
I still use it for that reason. But yeah, I really have struggled with that. Another thing is, truthfully, most people, unless you grew up with me, you don't know who Kenny Wheeler is.
Right.
And that's like a hard line that I have when a stranger walks up to me like, "Hey, Kenny, how you doing?" Like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
You don't know.
You don't know, dude.
That's right.
You don't know, dude. And chances are, you wouldn't have liked dude back then because he wouldn't have got along with you. So leave that alone
Right.
and just call me who you know me as. So,
Can I
yeah.
say something?
Yes, sir.
I think if you're known as, let's put it this way, the most beautiful physique in bodybuilding, and you're also known as Flex Wheeler, there have been other flexes that have tried to copy the Flex name, but there's only one Flex. Everybody knows who Flex is. So, in my opinion, for whatever it's worth, I think you should always be Flex, not for marketing, not for anything, just because it's fucking you, man. You're you're the man. So
Thanks,
just
brother.
for whatever, I'm fanboying a little bit here. I'm showing,
No,
but I just wanted to kind of like, I think that's the way the public sees you. That
yeah.
you're that guy. You're the, you're the physique of physiques. So I think it's something you should be proud of. That's all.
Thanks, brother. And, I've watched you from afar, your success and everything you've done. Um, you know, I have so much respect for you and what you achieved and everything
Thank you.
is absolutely just mind-boggling. And like I said, I'm competitive with everybody, but not in a good way. My mind frame is like, how can't we all be successful?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are like, no, I want to be successful and I want to be able to step on you to
No.
be. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. But so I'm competitive, and what I do is I'm like, there's a fair playing field for all of us. And if I've achieved all these things, when someone does something better than me, it points a hole in my weakness of where my game isn't tight.
Right.
And I need to tighten my game up. That's on me.
Right.
Because it is an open playing field. And that's how, I look at everything. So no, the things that you said, I take to heart, tremendously. And, still even now, like it's difficult to go into the gym because I can't train that heavy, freaking I'm all weak and, nothing that I used to be. But, people like, no, I don't see that. When I see you, I see that guy, I'm like, really? So, for all those people who say those things, I greatly appreciate it. And I appreciate you, even you want me to be on your podcast. I know it took us a minute to make it happen, bro. We got it done now, bro.
Yeah, I'm happy, man. Flex, I'm gonna let you go. I really appreciate the 2 hours you spent with me. These things are normally like a half an hour long, so I really enjoyed talking to you. So thank you for making the time. You're welcome back anytime you want. Shoot the shit, talk about whatever. But I appreciate the conversation because it's also helping me with kind of what I'm going through too. So thank you very much, Flex.
Definitely. And I just want to say, brother, you got my personal number now. I expect and I hope to hear from you. I mean, you know, for me, my darkest times comes when it's nighttime, and that's like when all the demons come out and just chase me around the room. So I got a lot of people that I talk to or I text. Some I'm like, hey, I'll text you, but don't call me because I won't answer. You know, but I just want to be one of those guys, if ever, or if you start hearing more information about what was going to happen or not going to happen, you
Yeah,
know, hey, please reach out to me.
I will.
There's a guy that's called Bionic Legs. He's a brother.
Yeah.
Um, when I lost my leg, he's the first person I reached out to. Like, man, how do I do this? How do I move forward? And shockingly, his answer was, Flex, I've been an amputee for, you know, since I was 5. I don't know. I haven't been where you've been, so I can't really help you with that. But just seeing how he's persevered, how he still gets out there, how he still built an incredible physique is still inspiring. So, you know, please allow me to be one of those guys that you can call on if ever needed.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. I
Okay,
wish you
bud.
all the best. You
Okay,
and your
brother.
family. God bless you guys, brother.
Thank you. You as well. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.